Ready? My religion is kindness, my church is nature, my God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious, my path is forgiveness, my religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. Now everyone has a story, and everyone has pain. When we strip away our masks, we find that we're really all the same. Those little things we say and do that can mean so much. It's a smile, a connection, simple love and touch. My religion is kindness, my church is nature, my God is a feeling that lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious, my path is forgiveness, my religion is kindness. Gonna practice it every day. Now, today I'm gonna ask myself, what more can I do? Be a radiant child of God and let my love shine through. I'll let my heart be my guide to give the best of me. I'm gonna share my love, share my joy, give it boundlessly. My religion is kindness. How are you doing this so fast? My church is nature. You're amazing. My God is a feeling to live deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness. Gonna practice it every day. It's time to love. You can never get too much kazoo, is what I say. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Then Jack fell down and broke his crown. Jill came running after. She said, Jack, tell me, what can I do to help ease your mind? He said, hold my hand and just be kind. I know I'll be my church, nature. My God is a feeling, lives deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness. Gonna practice it every day. My religion is kindness, and my church is nature. My God is this feeling that lives so deep inside. My job is to be conscious. My path is forgiveness. My religion is kindness. Gonna practice it every day. My religion is kindness. I'm gonna practice it every day. My religion is kindness, and I'm gonna practice it. Will you practice it with me every day? Every day. Can we hear some love for Rob over there? I can't even sing it that fast. I mean, just getting the words out of my mouth and you're doing it. That's a workout, my friend. Oh, my. So my religion is kindness, and I practice it every day. And oi, it's a practice sometimes, isn't it? Isn't it? So the Dalai Lama said, this is my religion. There's no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophies. My own brain, my own heart is my temple. And that philosophy is kindness. And, you know, I think that the main thing about kindness is that it has to start with us. It has to start with loving ourselves and being kind to ourselves. And my question for you this morning is, when you woke up, when you opened your little eyes this morning and the day started and you sashayed into the bathroom and you looked at yourself in the mirror, did you say, oh my God, have you gotten more beautiful overnight? What is the deal? I mean, look at this body. Look at it. You are a magnificent creature. Did you say that? Or did you go, oh my God, everything's dropping? So how you start your day is really, I think, the philosophy that I want to talk about today, is that what you choose and how you start your day is the beginning of how you greet the world. So if you would, darling, could you play, here's an example. If you can't imagine what it's like, here's an example of how you could start your day. So go ahead, play this little thing for me.
Look, I can be a shark. Now my whole house is great. I can do anything good. I like my school. I like anything. I like my dad. I like my cousins. I like my aunts. I like my Allisons. I like my moms. I like my sisters. I like my dad. I like my hair. I like my haircuts. I like my pajamas. I like my stuff. I like my rooms. I like my whole house. My whole house is great. I can do anything good. Yeah.
So do you love that? I love my house. I love my hair. I can do anything. Can you try doing that tomorrow morning? So I learned, thank you very much for that. So I learned the power of what you say first in the morning is how your day goes. And so I told this whole story to my group, our practitioner group, that I was in a hotel years ago and I had an alarm clock radio. And at 7 o'clock when the alarm clock radio woke me up, it started my day with Linda Ronstadt singing to me, "You're no good, you're no good, you're no good, baby, you're no good." And then in case I didn't really get the message, she goes, "I'm going to say it again, you're no good, you're no good." So the entire day, what do you think I'm hearing in my head? So I have developed this whole philosophy that you have to flip those things and say, "I'm so good, I'm so good." You know, and this is why all my albums, so 22 albums at this point, they all start, the very first song all starts with a song that's going to wake you up and make you feel good. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Or I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. Or I start my day with love when I start my day with love. That's what I get more of, is love. And so I believe when we start the day with love, when we start the day with kindness, that is how the day goes. So put your hand over your heart, if you would. And I want you to just do my spiritual practice that I do every morning, which is you say to your little sweet self, what does my heart have to say today? And you just check in first. What does my heart have to say? And you just listen. You just give yourself like a minute to listen. And it could say, "Oh, honey, you're tired. You know that meeting you have to do this afternoon? Get out of it. You need to go get a massage." Whatever it is, you just let it come up. And yeah, you just go, and that's the thing. Little kids just know what they need, don't they? No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. And then they just, when they aren't getting their needs met, they cry. But the little thing that I did with these wonderful practitioners this weekend was all about what do we give ourselves permission for? And we're all so used to waiting for permission to, feel what we want to feel or tell the truth. And I just truly believe when we allow ourselves to just check in with our hearts and tell the truth, it doesn't necessarily mean you always have to do something about it. If it means I want to quit that, I don't want to go to that meeting, you might not be able to get out of it, but at least you've told the truth to yourself. And then you can maybe handle what you need to handle for yourself later. But to me, checking in with your heart is the first step. And I learned this idea years ago. I was part of a little theater troupe in the Bay Area. I live in the San Francisco area. And my character in this little puppet show was Dr. Heart. And I was covered with hearts. I had a heart, big smock. I had heart, earrings, heart, everything. And my job in the pediatric wards is I had a little stethoscope. And I had to go up to all the little kids, and they're all hooked up to machines. And I had to go up and put my little stethoscope on their heart and go, what does your heart have to say today? What does your heart have to say? And these little lammy poos would look up at me with these big eyes and go, my heart is sad because I'm really scared about what's happening, or my heart is scared because I want to go out and play. And their parents weren't there and the doctors weren't there, but the point is they were able to say what was on their heart. And I think that idea of just first starting, with what it is, how you want to start your day. That's why, like, even that song, Today I Choose, to me just feels like it's so important to say, what are you choosing? What is your word for the day? And haven't you noticed when you say that that's what manifests? If you say, I want to be peaceful, you look for peace. If you want to be loving, you're looking for places to be loving. You know, one of the exercises I do in all of my retreats is I end the day by saying to everybody, when you put your little head down to sleep, think of these 3 things. What surprised me today? What inspired me today? And what touched my heart? And when you start your day and you know that you're ending your day with those questions, you start to look for that during the day. You look for what touched your heart. You look for what, oh, wow, that surprised me that happened. And you can go through the day looking for those things. But one of the things I love about doing a talk about kindness is I collect stories of kindness. And I think that especially in these times right now that are so wacky and fraught, that this idea of being kind to yourself so that you can be kind to others is what is the most important thing we need to be practicing. And so I found this little story that I just love. So this is a woman who wrote this, I think, on a Facebook post. And she said, "To the man in line behind me at the Gainesville Target, who saw that after hitting my grocery budget limit, I decided to put back that pumpkin spice candle and the makeup I had picked out for myself. You didn't know that I always save my stuff for last and usually end up putting it back. You didn't know that the 2 fussy kids I had with me were only 2 out of 4. You didn't know that I have postpartum depression from the youngest babe and that I use that scent as a way to boost my mood. You didn't know that this week has been full of sick kids, parent-teacher conferences, and emergency dental visits, and I was so looking forward to lighting that candle at nap time and just taking a minute for me to relax. Even without knowing that, you saw me. You saw me as a human, not just as a mom in front of you that was distracted and going way too slow. You heard me say that I'd like to put those items back, and you said, 'Oh no, lady, you're getting them.' You didn't take no for an answer. You told me I deserved it, and when I started to tear up, you, sir, are the good of the world. You made my day, probably my week, and I will pay it forward. Thank you so much for your kind heart and your words." Now that is just such a small example of what you can do for someone. And you know, I love this. I found this too. Today you could be standing next to someone who is trying their best not to fall apart. So whatever you do today, do it with kindness in your heart. And I was on a Southwest Airlines flight a while ago, and all of a sudden the flight attendant comes on and she says, "All right, everyone, put your window shades down and put the little call button light on above you and do it right now." And everyone went like, "Oh my God, it was an emergency thing, what's happening?" And everyone kind of freaked out, and all of a sudden everyone's really quiet. They stopped watching their movies, and you know, they're just there. And she goes, "All right, I need to tell you all something. This is Bob. It's his 85th birthday, and we're all gonna sing happy birthday to him because he deserves it. And when I tell you to, you're gonna flip on and off that little call button light, and that will be his candles that he's gonna blow out. Are you ready?" And all of a sudden, the entire plane on Southwest, she goes, 1, 2, 3, happy birthday to you. And now the front part is going, happy birthday, and we're all going 3 seconds behind, happy birthday, and everyone's in the wrong key. And it just sounds like this cacophony of just, I mean, for a musician, I was going, oh my God, what am I hearing? But it made me tear up, because it was so beautiful that everybody stopped what they were doing. And here's this guy, and what they had done is they had made a little crown for him of the peanuts, the peanut bags and matchsticks. And so he had this crown, he's standing up there, and we're all singing to him as one. And it was so out of tune and so beautiful. And in that moment, when we all started to applaud, everybody was one. And we got off the plane, and you know, we're all standing, you know, getting our luggage, and all of a sudden now everyone's like, "Hi, how are you? Good to see you." Like now we're all a family because we had shared in this. And you know how everyone is always so in a rush to get off the plane. Now today, everyone stopped to wish him a happy birthday, and he just stood there, just taking it all in, like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you," and it was beautiful. And that's what kindness does. So kindness to yourself, it really starts with yourself, because when you start there, it's the foundation. And you know, I have a song that I think is so interesting to me. It really says something about our society right now, that, you know, I'm on Spotify, and someone made me look at my numbers, which I never do. And the biggest streaming song of mine at like 2.8 million streams or something was this little song that says, I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. And another verse says, I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself, and I will love myself like a newborn baby child. And you know, when I looked at that, I thought, how interesting. Of all the songs I've written, that's what people need to hear right now. Don't you think so? That we all are just too hard on ourselves. And when we are, then we're hard on other people. You know, it's like when we can be gentle and be patient and kind, you can then look out at the world and give that to others. So I was on another Southwest Airlines flight, and I had the coveted A position. And I'm standing in front, and you know, the thing that cracks up about flying now is like, no one talks to each other anymore. You know, you're all waiting for your plane, but everyone's on their phones. And actually, I have to share this with you because it's one of my favorite things. I mean, I do love my cell phone. I do have to say, but wait a minute, I've got to just share this with you. So I found this. In the not too distant future, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook will merge to form one giant, idiotic, supersized, time-wasting, non-productive, time-stealing, mind-numbing, do-not-need-to-know website called You Twit Face. I have no idea. But you know, it's so amazing because everyone's like down in their phones, and God forbid. And you know, sometimes I'll be sitting in my seat, and someone comes and they're about to sit next to me, and I go, "Hi, how are you?" And you can see the look of fear, like, "Oh my God, you might be a talker," and you know, you could see them just going, "Oh my God, if I say hello, then she's going to talk to me for 3 hours." And oh my God. And I always want to just say to them, "I'm just saying hello to you. That's as far as I'm going. Okay? It's good. You're good with me. Don't worry." But it's just, that's what we've done. We've all gotten these little shells of like, God forbid I talk to anybody. But in this particular case, I'm standing in front, and one of the things I do when I start my day, when I'm going to travel, I give myself permission to be present today, to just really see and feel around me. So in this particular case, when everyone's down in their phones, I'm looking around. And I see this guy taking his elderly mother, and she looked like she had a little bit of dementia or something going on, and he's kind of catering to her. And I got the idea that he was dropping her off at the gate, and he was going to leave. And I could just see that look of anxiousness on his face, because I've been there before with my parents. And you know, he kind of dropped her off, and he's walking away, and he keeps looking back to make sure she's okay. And at one of those places, I caught his eye. And I just could feel what was happening. And I went, you know, I'll watch out for her. I'll just kind of, you know, mime a little thing. I'll look out for her. And he goes, thank you. And he leaves. So now we fly to our destination. And I'm walking up, I always call it the gangplank. What is it called? The jetway. So I'm walking up the jetway, and I see her at the top of the jetway looking really confused, like she doesn't know, you know, where to go. And obviously the person who was picking her up couldn't come all the way in. So I come up to her and I say, "Hi, my name's Karen. I'll take you to, you know, whoever's picking you up." And she looks at me and she goes, "Oh, Karen, you look fabulous. Have you lost weight?" My God. Thanks, I think. So I kind of escort her to her person, and you could see the same thing going on over there, where here's the other brother picking, and he's doing this. He's kind of looking for her. And I just kind of motioned, you know, I got her, and same thing. And, you know, so I deliver her, and she goes, "Oh, Karen, are you going to stay with us for the weekend and have dinner?" You know, and the brother's like, "Who is this? What's going on, Mom?" But, you know, a situation like that, of allowing myself to be present and being kind in that way, just simply noticing. It's not like I did some big thing. It was just right there in front of me to do something. And it serves me. It serves me because then my heart is that much more open to see everything else that's going on. And you know, it can be like the smallest things that even like when you get your little Starbucks coffee in the morning and the barista's, handing you your latte or whatever, instead of just going, oh, thank you, that you just take that moment. It's just really sometimes what I'm talking about here is so infinitesimal. It's that extra moment of seeing somebody. I'll say that again. It's that extra moment of really seeing somebody. And so, I'll say to him, thank you so much. How you doing today? And a lot of times they go, oh, fine. You're talking to me? What's going on? And I'm not talking about that woo-woo kind of thing that you're going to look at them for that extra moment where you're like, wow, the meanness in me sees the you-ness in you, and we're like bonded, and it's beautiful. Let's have a hug. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that one extra moment. Or the person on the phone that you're calling, that company that you're like so frustrated that you've been on the phone forever, that you just say, how are you doing today? And do you notice that when you do that they always kind of take a beat like, oh, you noticed me? You're asking, you really want to know how I am? But that's the thing. And the other thing too, like here's another Starbucks story. I'm sorry, I've got a million of these. So one of my things when I go on the road is I like to have $21 bills that I have to give out somehow. During my time, it's either for tips or whatever, but in this case, a lot of times it happens at Starbucks. And so there's this woman in front of me who says, "I'd like a coffee," and she's fumbling with her money, and I just go, "Oh, there's my opportunity," and I say to the barista, "I'll pay for her coffee." And this woman, she goes, "What?" And I go, "Well, I'll pay for your coffee," and she goes, "Why would you do that?" And I went, well, it's kind of my thing, I like to do this. And she goes, well, why don't you give it to someone who really needs it? I don't need it. So, I'm kind of going, okay, why am I doing this? But in that moment, I'm just like, so we kind of go back and forth. And finally, I just say to her, lady, it's a cup of coffee. Just take it. She goes, fine, whatever. So now we move down, we're waiting for our coffee to come up. And I'm just feeling like an idiot. Like, why did you do that? And there's this kind of awkward silence as we're waiting. But then, and this is the payoff, then she looks at me, and her face is totally different. And she looks at me for a minute, and she goes, nobody ever does this for me. And I go, well, thank you. It's really a pleasure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And we kind of stand there for a minute again. And she goes, so is this one of those pay it forward kind of things? And I go, whatever. But it's interesting. What I noticed is that, so my talk title today is My Religion is Kindness. But instead, it came out, My Religion is Love. And that's really what I am talking about here. Because kindness is love. And once again, if you love yourself up in the morning, it's so much easier to go and love someone else. And the thing is, with kindness, it really does come down to allowing yourself to be a little bit uncomfortable in that discomfort sometimes of putting your hand out. And last night I sang a song that I had written like 20 years ago called Hold On to Love, where one of the lyrics was, I'm going to take the time to look a stranger in the eye. I'm going to smile at someone before they pass me by. Because it's the little things that make us feel connected. It's the little things that let us know that we are one. And don't you find right now, with all the division that's going on in the world, that if we can just do the littlest things, the smallest things, to just connect with another person, that it makes our heart grow, and it spreads to me, my feeling is that if we are all those little lights of love, that's how we can make it through this time. That's how we can heal the world. That's how we can just come together as one. And maybe we can end a war, who knows? But that's what I'm looking for. But you have to allow yourself to have that moment of discomfort, of smiling at someone who might not return the smile, of putting your hand out to someone who might slap it. But one more little story to give you here, and I love this one, that there was a man who went to lunch, and he was sitting at his little booth, and he saw this elderly woman come in, and she was all coiffed. You know, her hair was all done, and she had a little carnation on her little suit that she was wearing. And she sat down next to him in the next booth. And his first impulse was to go over and say something to her. But as he started to get up, that voice came in and said, "Oh, don't stop," you know. And he sat down, had his lunch, and now all of a sudden her family all comes in, and the grandkids and everybody, so the whole table is packed. And he has his lunch, and he's getting up, and he's walking out. And he starts to walk out, and he hears this voice inside saying, "Go back." And he's like, "Really? Go back." So he goes back, and as uncomfortable as it was, he bends down to the woman. He goes, "Excuse me, everyone, I don't mean to interrupt your lunch, but I just really needed to say this." And he bent down to the woman and he said, "I just want to let you know you look really beautiful today. And the color of that carnation is just bringing out the blue in your eyes. And I just needed to tell you how beautiful you look today." And she gets kind of flustered and goes, "Oh, well, thank you." And he goes, "Thanks so much. Sorry to interrupt." And she goes, "Oh, no. Don't go anywhere." And he's like, "Yeah." And she goes, "I know you." And he says, "Well, no, I don't think we've ever met." And she goes, "Yeah, I know you." She said, "My family is here today with me celebrating my 1-year anniversary of my husband passing. And what you said is exactly what my husband would have said." So don't let that moment pass. That moment pass of sweetness, of kindness, of love for yourself, love for someone else, because it just comes down to loving kindness. So let's sing this little song together. Let me teach you this little chant. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. So that's the whole thing right there. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. Now think of someone in your life. So you gave that to yourself first by saying, "May I." But from that place, now you can close your eyes. You don't have to be worried about the words. So think about someone in your life that you love. And open your heart to them and sing to them, May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well, peaceful and at ease. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. All right, we're gonna stretch a little bit here for a moment. Think of someone you have a little issue with, someone who gives you a little trigger. And to the extent that you can open up your heart and have some compassion and empathy, not having any idea what they could be going through, say to them, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well, peaceful and at ease. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. So take a deep breath. That was very good. So now let's extend that out from your heart into the community. So it could be this wonderful community you're in, or you can have it go farther into the world, to what's going on in the Middle East, whatever you want to do, and say, may we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. Now put your hand over your heart. Bring it back to yourself. Once again, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. So this week I'm going to give you a homework assignment. Yes, Karen, what is it? We'd love to do anything you say. So I want you to think about, what is one thing, some loving act you could give to yourself? What is one thing that you could do this week for yourself? Okay? And then from that, think of one thing you could do for someone else. It could be just a phone call, just saying, I'm thinking about you. How you doing? Or maybe it's someone that you have a little issue with, that you're going to talk to them and see if you can forgive, or whatever that is. And then from that place, maybe the next week, go on to your community or the world and think about, what is one loving thing I can do? I think that's one of the things that's hard for us in this time. We can feel so hopeless and helpless with everything that's happening. But what is one thing you can do for the world, for what's going on in the world, that can make you feel like, yes, I'm helping in my own way? And maybe that one thing can be buying someone a cup of coffee. So let's sing it one more time and say, I am filled. I am filled with loving. I am well. I am peaceful. I am peaceful and at ease. And I am happy. Just that last line. I am happy. And I am. And you have permission to tell your face that idea. And I am happy. So be kind to yourself. It's healing the world. Thanks for listening.